Welcome back to the shop. I was doing a bit of cleanup here yesterday, trying to get rid of some junk I don't need anymore. And we're gonna go ahead, we gotta get a new fuel line on the 71 here, get a new hard line bent up. And then I had this package show up, which apparently contains some back pain. But I think I know what's in here, and it's gonna be a couple more projects. And hopefully this isn't complete crap. Got this stuff for a good deal, but you know how that goes, especially when you buy this stuff on Amazon. That don't look too bad actually. So I've had my eye on Amazon there for a while. This is some 2.5 inch mandrel bent exhaust pipe, and it ended up going on sale. So I think I got this whole set for, I think it was 250 bucks or slightly less. It comes with 4 U-bends, 4 45s, 4 90s, and we got 4 lengths of 4-foot straight pipe as well. So with this, we should be able to make our new exhaust for the 71 here. When we put the full length headers on, we'll have to do some ankles and some bends to get us through. And this will also build the exhaust for the 68, and we'll probably have some pieces left over. So seems like a pretty good deal. I do have a pipe bender here as well if we need to tweak anything, but it really won't bend this pipe without crushing it. So at least this will kind of get us in the ballpark of what we need. Now the downside to this, and why it's relatively cheap, is it's not coated. So all we'll do is we'll just fab it up and then likely just spray it with some high temp header paint. And if it gets light bit of rust on it, that's not going to bother me. So we'll set that off to the side for now. Get to work on this. So we're just going to bend up a new hard line for the fuel pump here. See this one here, it's a little tight to the bottom rad hose there. So I'm going to make up a new one. I made this one a while back with some tubing benders, but with that fitting on there, I couldn't get it close enough. So what I'm going to do is bend a new one that comes straight up, and then I'll put the fitting on and leave just enough room to get my flaring bar in there, and then that'll give us a bit more room there. And then we're going to come up and in behind and try and get it a little more of a straight shot instead of this loop that we got there. All right, so there's our old line. This should be fairly simple. Famous last words with this truck, because it always seems to want to fight me on everything. If you've ever had vehicles like that, but some are just easier than others, and I think it's mechanical karma with this one. I think she knows I'm a Ford guy at heart and just likes to make everything difficult for me. So we got our line off, and I went ahead and bent up this little guide here, just out of some welding filler rod. And I just find that's easier trying to get your angles and which direction you need to go. It can get a little confusing if you're trying to do it off the truck, and then you can't always get it in there to test fit it without getting all your bends in there. So this should give us a rough guide of what we need. And then just in case, go get yourself a big old 25-foot spool. It's a bit cheaper buying it this way, and it's a lot nicer having this stuff on hand. I've bought the short little lengths in the past, but they can get pretty pricey. We'll just snag our fitting off the old one here. Get yourself a good double flare tool set, tubing cutter, and set of these benders can be pretty handy. All right, so we got a length of tubing cut off there, longer than we need. Give you a few inches to work with the ends. So what we'll do here is we'll bend our first 90 in, but we'll leave lots of extra there, and then we'll just cut our end off. Just stick her in the slot for 3/8. Give her the beans. We'll just crank her around till she hits the 90 mark. That's about what we're looking for. Now, even with these benders, you do get a little bit of a kink in there, but this is fairly oversized tubing for this application, so it'll be fine. So there's our little template, and here's what we actually ended up with. It's always deceiving. You bend up a wire and you think it's going to work, but we're having some clearance issues there, so I ended up putting a curve, extra bend and a 90 in it. And I like using these compression fittings. You can just put a flare on the end there and a hose clamp and stick your hose on, but I just feel a little better with these on there. And just make sure to use a new ferrule on it when you go ahead and put one back on. So I'll stick this on there and show you what we ended up with. All right, so that's what we ended up with there. Just 90 out, 90 up. Lots of clearance between everything here. It's a little tighter on that hose clamp there, but we've still got good finger in a bit. And then it just goes up and behind and tucks in behind the alternator bracket there. Just wanted to hide that fitting in that hose clamp as much as possible. So I like to minimize the amount of that stuff you see, even though this really isn't a show engine by any means. I just like to keep things tidy. So again, clearance there, and kind of cleans this up a bit. We don't have it coming up and wrapping around. So I'll give that a whirl, see how that does. So I keep looking at the tailgate there with fresh paint on it. I'm still back and forth on the lettering. Couldn't decide what to do there. And one of our viewers there has got a channel of his own. It's the Chad. If you haven't checked out his channel, pop over there. He's got some cool videos on the 67 to 72 C10s. And he said, why don't you mock it up with some black electrical tape and see what you think. I got an idea just to make up some temporary letters. So went ahead and did that. I got two colors kind of stuck in my head. Silver being the first, I think, with the silver pinstriping on this truck and some of the brushed aluminum trim, I think that kind of tie it together nicely without being too over the top. But of course these letters don't come in silver, but I was actually reading an article the other day where a guy went ahead and sprayed them with spray paint and light clear coat and said that they held up pretty well. So might give that a shot. And then I went ahead and tried the black, which was kind of my initial thought, but I also think it's going to be way too much. And putting those on there, I think it's definitely a little too in your face with the black of the cab and the strip on the tailgate, the black of the box, the tinted black window. I just think it doesn't quite flow. So I think I'm leaning towards the silver. What do you guys think? It's either going to be silver or I'm just going to leave it plain. But something about the plain, it's missing something. All right, so to mock these letters up without ordering one of the vinyl kits and wasting it, I just took a sheet of paper and tip of a Sharpie and just laid it on the gate and followed the outside of the letters, rubbed it in, went ahead and cut it out. Probably should have got my young helper to cut them out. She probably would have done a better job. And then I just used some Super 77 that I had kicking around here. This stuff comes in handy, and this stuff, you can glue your fingers together with this stuff if you want. Pretty tough stuff, but if you just do a light coat, what I did is just flip them over and just misted them on the back, let it set up for a minute or two, and then it'll leave it just tacky enough that you can stick it onto something and still be able to peel it off and doesn't leave a residue behind. So that can be handy if you're trying to mock up a paper template for sheet metal or anything you might be doing. So that worked well. And then what I did is I just shot the paper with some spray paint, give us our two colors. And for whatever reason, this black didn't quite set up, but that's my favorite brand to hate anyways. So while I've got these laid out here, this kind of reminds me of the story of how this truck got its name. I don't know about you, but myself and most car guys I know typically name their vehicles. So I was working on sanding a tailgate, and a friend of mine had texted me and asked what I was up to, and I said I was working on tailgate for the 71, and the truck still didn't have a name yet. So she told me she figured it needed an old lady name. She figured that would suit it, being that this truck is in her 50s. And so I was sanding away on the letters, trying to get things cleaned up in the tailgate, and thinking away what kind of name I could give this truck. And then I was kind of looking at the letters, and as I was sanding at the end here, and I got a little ADD, and I thought, hey, how about Ethel? So this truck's been known as Ethel ever since then, and that's how it came to be. And all the names on my vehicles have always kind of had some story. I know everybody just kind of calls their car Betsy or Ruby or whatever simple name they can come up with, but mine have always had some kind of meaning behind them. The white Ford there, that's Betty Ford on account of her old 460, and she's got a bit of a drinking problem, so a bit of a chuckle for anybody that is old enough to know who Betty Ford is, which that joke's kind of lost on most young people these days. Yeah, I had a Ford Escape for a while. It was built at the Kansas City assembly plant, and she became Dorothy on account of not being in Kansas anymore. The 68 F100, she became Holly, I think is the final decision on the name, on account of being Holly Green with a Holly carburetor. And my daily driver, the Ford Edge Sport there, she became Rosie. Me and my daughter were actually listening to AC/DC Whole Lotta Rosie, and she's a little bit of a big girl, and she's got some curves, so seems like a fitting name. So if you name any of your vehicles, any clever names, post a comment down below. I'd love to hear it. My vehicles always end up with female names as well. That's kind of fairly typical. I know some guys name theirs manly names like Jake and Roger, and you know, it seems a little odd to me to say to your buddies, hey, I'm going to go take Roger for a ride, but not that there's anything wrong with that. You know, we're living in modern times here. But mine end up with female names because they're royal pain in the ass sometimes, and they drain out my bank account. And most of them are fairly high maintenance as well. All right, let's go ahead and get this old girl moved back in. It's pretty smoky out there. You might not be able to tell on camera, but we got some forest fires burning just east of here, and she's pretty stinky. It was actually kind of funny to me when this truck was at the body shop. I went to go pick it up, and both the owner and one of the lead guys there commented on how well this truck starts up, being that it's carbureted. And that all comes down to nothing more than just tuning your carbs properly. I've always had mine set so that you fire the key, she fires right up. I guess they're typically used to cars coming in that haven't quite been tuned up yet and having to pump and crank until she fires, but even on a stone cold engine, she'll fire right up every time. All right, let's close this door before we get smoked out here. It's one of those smells I actually kind of like, but after about 5 minutes of that, eyes start to water and throat gets sore, so we'll stay in here where it smells like gasoline and oil. So I think that's all for today. I'm gonna hide in the shop here, trying to avoid the smoke outside, which is a shame because it was actually a beautiful day yesterday until that rolled in. And then just slightly after dinner time there, it came in quick to the point the sun was just a little red dot in the sky, and pretty nasty out there. So we'll hide inside, and hopefully the wind comes along and blows all this crap away. So let me know what you think on the tailgate letters there. We're gonna keep pondering that. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It really helps us out. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.